Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm here to tell you the budget highlights which affect clean technology industry. The clean technology industry has been in its nascent stage in India till now. But this budget has brought in some difference. This budget has promised that it is going to promote clean energy and harness clean energy so that the industry gets some sort of support, some sort of stimulus from the government. I'll first briefly capture what are the important highlights from the budget and then develop upon the highlights as we go through this video. There are four important developments which the budget has put forth. The first development is the extension of the tax holiday which the government has offered to the entire power sector. This tax holiday will of course be available to players in the clean technology industry. The second important budget highlight is that the government has promised investment of upwards of 10 billion Indian rupees in the clean technology industry. The third important budget highlight is that the government has increased the clean energy cess which was levied on the excise duty applicable to coal. The fourth important budget highlight is that a number of fiscal stimuli has been given to clean technology across various sectors which can be used by industry players to cut their margins and improve profitability. I will now move on and develop each of the highlight. The first highlight, as I said, is the extension of tax holiday which was given to clean technology industry. Now the government in the past years has had a scheme whereby any player who invests in the power industry and starts generation, distribution and transmission of power by a certain date is entitled to tax holidays of 10 years. In this budget, the Honorable Finance Minister has increased the timeline to 31st of March 2017, which means that if a player invests in the industry and manages to generate, distribute and transmit power before the deadline of 31st of March 2017, that player will be entitled to tax holidays for 10 years. The second important budget highlight is the promise of investment of the government in the clean technology industry. Now the government has promised that it is going to invest upwards of 5 billion Indian rupees in clean technology industry and take up ultra or mega solar power projects in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Jammu and Kashmir. It has also proposed to launch a scheme for solar power driven agricultural pump sets and water pump sets to energize up to 1 lakh electrical pumps at the cost of 4 billion Indian rupees. There are also proposals to develop solar power parks at the banks of canal at the cost of 1 billion Indian rupees. So what we are talking here is an investment of 10 billion Indian rupees in the clean technology industry. The investment is naturally going to percolate the upper section of players who will contribute directly to power generation projects and will also help other players who provide ancillary support to the industry. For example, the power generation sets will require continuous maintenance and wear and tear would also require new parts. So other players who just provide machinery and such other ancillary support to the industry also stand to get benefited by this investment. The second important budget highlight was the increase in cess, in the clean energy cess linked to excise of coal. Now before this budget, there was a certain cess which was levied in excise of coal. This excise was increased twofold. So it is 100% increase in the cess which is levied on the excise of coal. In monetary terms, it amounts to a total accumulation of rupees 6,857 million of collection which will be used by the government. Now, where will this money which is collected by this cess going to be used? The government has said that it is going to use this money in funding of research in the area of clean energy and environment. Now, when we say that these funds are going to be used in this sector in funding of clean energy and environment, a large chunk can be expected to be contributed in the area of research and development. Now, we know that once research and development fructifies, the fruit of this research and development is available to the industry at large. So, therefore, we can expect that the industry will be made available or a lot of such research development and innovations in the near future because of the increase of government towards research and development in the areas of clean energy and environment. My third budget highlight was on the fiscal impetus given to the clean technology energy at large. Now, I want to break this down into three sectors. The first is the solar sector, the second is the wind sector, and the third is the biogas energy harnessing sector. I'll take you through all the budget highlights one by one. First of all, full exemption from excise duty is being provided for solar tempered glass used in the manufacture of solar photovoltaic cell and modules, solar power generation equipments and systems, and flat plate solar collectors. Second, full exemption from excise duty is being provided to back sheet and EVA sheet used in the manufacture of photovoltaic cells, modules, and specified raw materials used in their manufacture. Just to go back, I am now talking and dealing with the first part, which is solar energy. Third, full exemption from excise duty is being provided to parts consumed within the factory of production for the manufacture of non-conventional energy devices. Fourth, full exemption from excise duty is being provided on the flat copper wire used in the manufacture of photovoltaic ribbons for use in the manufacture of solar cells and modules. Now, the developments and promises which I have captured till now pertain exclusively to excise duty. Excise duty is related to domestic manufacture of goods. The intention behind the government to introduce all these developments is to promote the domestic industry to manufacture photovoltaic cells and such other parts which will be used by the solar power generation industry. The next developments pertain to solar power generation sets or the units at large. So, for these units, the government has promised full exemption from excise duty in respect of machinery, equipments required to setting up of solar energy projection projects. So, the persons who are interested in setting up in an entire unit and not just manufacture of certain parts can use the margins which the government has promised in terms of excise duty levied on machinery, equipments and others, and cut the costs involved in setting up of energy production projects. The second developments are in terms of custom duties which are levied on imports. The government has said that basic customs duty on machinery, equipment and so required for setting up solar energy power production projects will be reduced to 5%. The government has further added that full exemption from basic customs duty is being provided on specified raw materials used in the manufacture of solar power back sheet and EVA sheet. The last in the area of solar power is the full exemption from basic customs duty provided on flat copper wire used in the manufacture again of PV for solar photovoltaic cells and modules. Now, one is to expect that these fiscal benefits granted to the solar power industry is going to bring down the costs associated with the purchase of machines and parts used in solar power generation units. Now, one of the problems which the solar energy industry and in fact the entire clean technology industry has been the high capital investment involved in setting up a power project. The parts are extremely costly to buy, and with these cuts it is going to be easier for the manufacturers, for the purchasers and for everybody in the industry to purchase this because the costs are going to go down. Now I am going to touch upon the developments in the wind power energy. The budget has promised, like in the case of solar powers, numerous fiscal stimuli for the wind power energy. I will take you through one by one. The first is the fact that excise duty is being reduced from 12% to nil for forged steel rings used in the manufacture of bearings for wind operated electricity generators. Second, full exemption from excise duty is being provided to parts consumed within the factory of production for the manufacture of non-conventional energy devices, which would include wind power generation sets. Third, basic customs duty is being reduced from 10% to 5% on forged steel rings used in the manufacture of bearings, which will also be used in wind generation energy units. And last, full exemption from special additional duty is being provided on parts and components required for the manufacture of wind operated electricity generators. Now, like I said, all these fiscal cuts, all this stimuli is going to help industry players because it's going to take down the cost which was involved in purchase and manufacture of machines and parts used in the industry. The last aspect I am going to touch upon is the fiscal impetus for setting up biogas plants. Now, there are two such fiscal benefits given to industry players in the biogas energy harnessing industry. Number one, full exemption from excise duty is being provided on machinery equipments required for setting up compressed biogas plants. Number two, concessional customs duty of 5% is being provided on machinery, equipments and so required for setting up again compressed biogas plants. So, what the government is effectively trying to do is that for domestic players who manufacture compressed biogas plants as well as those players who import compressed biogas plants, the government has said we are going to give you some sort of relaxation in terms of one, in case of domestic manufacture, full exemption from excise duty, so no excise duty to be paid, and in case of import, a concession of customs duty upwards of 5% is being given to the industry. Like I said, in the case of solar energy and wind energy, this will benefit the industry because it is going to take down the cost involved in setting up a compressed biogas plant. Overall, I think it's a very good budget for the clean technology industry because the government has clearly said that it is going to take interest in setting up power generation units. It has brought down the taxes which were levied on the industry, and most importantly, a statement which has come from the government that it is going to treat the industry on a very high priority. This should help the industry players because they know, one, that the investment they are going to make is definitely going to get them yields in the long run and second, that the gestation period involved in setting up a power plant project isn't going to hurt as much as it would because of the tax incentives given to the industry. With that, I am Anand Shukla. Thank you very much. This is our industry update of the budget for the clean technology industry. Thank you.